Hello everybody and welcome back to Aurora 4X. I of course am Sir Beardian, and today we are going to start construction of our scout carriers and scout fighters. Now, quick things. First of all, the name for our scout carrier has now been decided. It will be called the James Cook class, after Captain Cook, who originally discovered, or at least is credited with the discovery of Australia. And especially because we're basically going to be going with a no holds barred, conquer everything, claim all land for us playstyle, which is very appropriate. If you know anything about history of Australia. So we have our scout carrier, we have our scouts. Now, there is one other thing that I designed, and that is the airfield class planetary fighter base. So this is a PDC. So that means it's a ground structure, basically. Now, PDCs are a little bit different from regular ships. First and foremost, you'll notice that a lot of stuff in here is actually entirely missing. There are no engines, for example, and there's a couple of things here like the PDC barracks. Now, this allows you to actually load troops in the base, which will actually let them take part in ground combat. Since the NPRs don't actually do ground invasions, these things will basically never be useful for you. And they do have limited capacity in terms of extra logistical and industrial stuff. Like, obviously there's no asteroid miner on a underground base, because that would be ridiculous. Fuel storage works, but maintenance storage bay doesn't, because they don't actually store any maintenance supplies, because they don't need maintenance. So there's no... So PDCs do not run or use or require maintenance whatsoever, even if they have weapons. They are also built in with industry, so you can make them as big as you want and just pay the industrial cost. So what I've done is I've added a little bit of fuel capacity, even though they'll never use it themselves, just so they can reload, just so they can refuel ships. And I've added a 50,000 tons worth of hangar capacity, which is pretty nice. I've also added 1,000 flight crew berths, because I don't really know how much flight berths a 50,000 tons worth of ships will have, but it's probably going to be less than 1,000. Now, this is not necessarily ever going to be a requirement, because I believe the fact that it's going to be on a populated colony is going to negate the requirement for actual crew berths. But I didn't want to take that risk because I'm not 100% sure on it. So, and you know, it's not that expensive to have those. It's like 300 Macassium. It's nothing. The other thing you'll notice is that the armor layers are actually 5 compared to the rating of 1. That's because PDCs can't use shields, but they do get 4 bonus layers of armor for... I actually don't think they have any cost at all, to be honest. But they get 4 bonus layers of armor, essentially for free, which represents the layers of rock and dirt that the bunker is built under. So even though it can't be repaired, I guess they just pile the dirt back in. Deployment time is relevant because it's going to be on a planet that's populated. So this is essentially just a hangar bay where we can keep our fighters before we load them into carriers, and that they can sit and be maintained in our when they're not in use. So we're going to be building one of these. It's not super expensive. It's only got 5,800 build points compared to much higher that we've been dealing with. So PDCs, like the River and the Nibbler, are around 8,000, 75 and almost 9,000, Airfield's only 5,800, so it's not that different. The uranium cost is what's kind of really badly hurting it. And of course, the huge amounts of Enderite that the hangar bays cost. Because 50,000 tons of hangar bay is a lot of hangar bay. So we're going to stick one airfield class. So 15, create, and that'll be as soon as the nibbler is done. Oh wait, were you constructing? No, you were constructing. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so as soon as the nibbler is done, which will be in December, it's going to switch across and it's going to build that airfield, which is fine. We are also going to build a couple of fighters. So we're going to build 2. And we're going to stick them in the, might as well stick them in the shipyard. We're going to build 2 grav surveyors, and we're going to send them out as soon as they're built out to do a grav survey of Sol until our carrier can be done. Speaking of carriers, we need our 200 EP commercial nuclear pulse. So we're going to build, we want to build some of those. What do we actually, how much do we actually need? What can we do? What can we do? Okay. Component summary. Production. Okay, now, we can't build hangar deck components because they are essentially just a shell inside the ship. So we can't build a hangar deck, but the commercial engines are actually a tiny portion. There's actually very little here that we can pre-build that'll make it worthwhile. We can shave like 10% of the cost by pre-building the engines, which we will actually do. But yeah, there's actually very little here. Yeah, there's very little here that would actually increase the cost, that will decrease the cost of our ship. Yeah, because you can't pre-build those, you can't pre-build those, you can't... Can you pre-build? No, you can't pre-build fuel storage. No, you can't pre-build those, you can't pre-build armor. Engineering spaces also can't be pre-built, is that correct? Yes, it is. Maintenance storage bays, I believe that also can't be pre-built. Yeah, so there's basically nothing here that can actually be pre-built except for the engine, which we might as well, I guess. You know, we are definitely going to have to retool for the James Cook. So we'll set that. That's going to be done in February in the year 30, so a couple months. We already have, yeah, oh no, we already have one tool for the Quokka. That's fine. And we have the camel as well. What's the camel need? Because we are going to need a camel. Jump drive and the commercial engine. Okay, so survey squad jump drive. We're just going to build one of those. Create that. And another 2 engines. Bump that up to 4. There we go. Armor, fuel storage. Yeah, basically nothing else. So these components are the only things that we're really going to be able to pre-build. But that's fine because the jump drive is a huge portion of that cost anyway. Okay. So we'll hold off on building those for now. Research, we're almost going to be done with the shipyard, which is a little bit unfortunate because it would have been nice to do that before having to tool it, but oh well. Nothing else we really need, so let's continue on. So we are running through to December. It's currently October. Waiting for that to hit 0. Karma Solar has increased to 6 complexes. We almost have a research lab done, which is great. 10 mining complexes on Irene. There's a research lab. We're going to put it in here because we might as well. Anything getting close? The gas cannon is almost done. What do we have on kinetics? Okay, no, we already have lots of stuff piled up for kinetics. That's fine. Done. There we go. Okay. So the Nibbler. So we got a Nibbler done. So we are going to move him to Rainmouth. Move 2, and then get it to join the Asteroid miner fleet. So that's him done. So we are now producing our 4 commercial engines, and we are working on magazine ejection system chance. We are also going to run Gauss rate of fire 2, because that'll get us up to 3 shots, and that will start making Gauss guns actually worth it for point defense. Oh, and one of the mini grabs is done. Okay, so we finished one of the mini grabs. Perfect. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, okay, it's in here. Cool. Split you off and send you out to do a grab survey. So range is pretty reasonable on these things, so we don't have to worry too much about it. I did hit grab survey, right? Yes, good. How far is it going? There he is. Where are they? There they are. Yeah, okay. It's fine. Okay. Capacitor recharge rate 2 is done, and 0.7 fuel production, fuel consumption is on the way. Perfect. Shipyard operations is almost done. Our engine is almost complete. Okay, Rainmouth now has 3 sets of production, so we have about 17.5 years before we can expect Rainmouth to completely be mined out, which is good. Which is good, because we want it to be mined out. How are we doing on Mars and Luna? 3.6 million. Well, okay, we got plenty of workers on Luna, so we can probably shift another 10 mines. Regular ones, please. Thank you. And supply. Because they're building lots anyway, so it's not a big deal to occasionally send 10 of them over. Alright, commercial engines are done. Now we're doing the squad jump drive, and we'll actually finish the construction. Let's go for 10% reduction, might as well. Let's go for mining production as well. I might as well increase fighter production. Okay, that will do. Cool. Okay. Magnet ejection system chance is almost done. Good. Jump drive is going to take a little while. Okay, ejection system is done. Feed efficiency is on the way. And we're just going to stick the next tier of ejection system into the cycle. These are going to take a little while. Okay, how are we doing? Mini grab is almost done. Ooh, we found the jump point. Okay. There it is, right there. So it's a little bit beyond the orbit of, I believe that's Saturn. So it's a little bit beyond the orbit of Saturn, system north. It's not too shabby. There's usually almost always one that's reasonably close to the inner systems. Okay, and there's the other one. So mini-grav 2. I'm going to split you off and give you the same order, gravity. Okay. Server bonus of 25, that's not bad. Tech is going fine, industry is fine. We are tooled for the James Cook. Now, we don't need to wait for the jump drive to start building the James Cook. So we are going to start building the namesake. Done. February 31, January. So we save about a month. Yeah, okay. We'll do the jump drive. We'll do the camel once we get the jump drive complete. And we still have 2 engines for it. Okay, we got a second jump point. Where is it? Oh, whoa. There's one right there. So we got one out past Saturn. And we have one in the asteroid belt. System southwest. That one we can probably reasonably secure if we have any issues. And I think, unless we find one closer, which I don't think we will, this is probably the one that we're going to go for as our first exploration, because it's just so close. It's going to be really, really easy to defend. It's also going to be extremely vulnerable, so we're going to have to defend it. So yeah, we're just really going to have to fortify it. Okay, so jump drive is done. Start work on one camel with the namesake. Interestingly enough, it's more expensive than the actual carrier. But it's going to be built a little bit later in the year compared to the James Cook, because it's also building at half the rate as well. So, okay. And we are now building our airfield, which is going to take until... it's going to take 2 years. Might have to do something about that. What's going to be built next? 32. Factories are going to be done. Okay, once the factory is done, we're going to pump out the airfield, and then we're going to switch back to building more factories. There is our PPV. Mars is not happy. So, they want a protection level of 4. They are almost at 10 million. So we are going to start building one quokka. There we go. Production underway. We are down to 2 nuclear engines. So it's not going to take too long to get that built. How fast is it actually climbing? Oh, it's only 4. Mag feed efficiency is done. So we are going to get the next level of feed efficiency. Okay, so it looks like it's starting at 4, but it's not really doing anything, going higher super fast. So that's fine. By the time we're gonna get, like, each one of these provides 15. So it's not gonna take too long. Alright, construction brigades are done. Construction brigades are extremely useful. They are 5 times the size of a regular brigade, but they act as a factory. So it'll be useful to get these for if we have to build stuff on a planet. that doesn't necessarily or can't necessarily support population. I do want to see about building a railgun fighter as well. I might do that once we get better engines though. But we are going to be exploring really soon. So, can we build a railgun fighter? New. Scrub, scrub, scrub. How big is this? 300 tons. Wait, what am I talking about? Why do we need a railgun fighter? We have a gunship. We have a literal gunship that we can use for system defense. That's kind of why we designed it. Now we just have a mechanical reason for it instead of just a roleplay one. All right, our third jump point has been located, and it is out just shy of the orbit of Uranus in system southeast. So we have 1, 2, 3. I believe we start with 4. So we should have 1 left to find. Quokka is 60% complete. Alright, we got a research lab done. So let's get 1 more of those. Good. Fighter factories. Oh, these are fighter factories, not construction factories. Okay. We're done with these anyway. New shipping line created. The Parker Container Group. Alright, so that's our second shipping yard. We should be expecting to see a couple of ships fall out of these guys soon. We'll see what comes out. Mm-hmm. 83, 86. Alright, there is our fourth jump point. Let's see where it is. It is just past Uranus orbit out north in system. So we kind of have a bit of a line of jump points here. Oh, and also our first mineral packet from 2000 JG81 is about to arrive. So, hooray. And our Warhead 3 is almost done. How are we doing? We got November on the fighter factories. So, not too far off. Ooh, it's a colony ship. Excellent. That will be extremely handy. And Quokka is done. All right, our first Quokka is has been launched. There we are. And I'm going to put this in the not new. Rename to First Soul God. All right, not too shabby. Now, one little ship is not going to be enough, especially if we accidentally pull something back from the systems we explore. So I will be creating additional ships. So we're going to get all 3 out immediately. But we can see that we are now providing 15 protection level. So Mars is very happy with the protection that they have been provided, so their unrest will now begin to decrease. Which is excellent, because we don't want that unrest to increase. We want them to keep building stuff for us. They're up at 61 construction factories and 33 mines, which is actually pretty damn reasonable. The stockpile's doing good. I mean, we are producing 783 tons of minerals per annum out of Mars as it is. So it's actually not going too shabby. Okay. And next, lots of techs are about to complete. So we are... Fission warhead is about done now. There we go. We're going to get fission warhead of 4. So we're doing a missile agility now. Fuel consumption and engineering section are almost done. The James Cook is 77% complete in January, so about 2 months. Okay, we are done with the fuel consumption. We're doing jump drive efficiency now, which is excellent. So our engines are going to be more efficient now for future ships. And another colony ship, excellent. All right, our population is going to really start skyrocketing extra soul in other systems. So colonization is really going to be able to take off now, which is beautiful. All right, construction of fighter factories is done. Let's shift the airfield up into 50% production, which will complete it real fast. And we're going to add in our next lot of, actually, screw 100. 400 factories. That way we don't have to worry about it so often. But the airfield's not going to be done in May, which is really, really fast. Alright, Minigrav is starting to lose morale. Yep, so it's past the 11 month. So we are going to clear the defaults and we're going to send it back to Australia to refuel. So it's down to 58% fuel, which is fine. Minigrav 2 is going to have to start coming back soon. Oh, small engineering bay is done. That's nice. How far off is Minigrav 2? 9, so about a month. Yeah, about a month longer. So we're starting work on the flag bridge. Oh, bloody hell, I was going to put a flag bridge on the carrier. Damn it. Okay. Bugger it. Too far. Oh, we have our first maintenance failure. Let's see what the logs say. Alright, maintenance failure, we have... okay, so we lost the grav sensor on the Minigrav 1. Okay, I expected it to lose the grav sensor, so that's not bad. He's on his way back to... he's on his way back anyway. So, by the time he gets back... I expect we'll probably have the James Cook out. And there it is. See? Okay. So, we have the James Cook, first of its name, has now been constructed and is ready for duty. Hooray! Okay. Let's split you off into your own task group. Right button this time. First exploration fleet. Okay. And Minigrav 1, let's get you to cancel that, and we're just going to get you to dock to first exploration fleet, and we're going to assign mothership. So, so with fighter controls, you have a few extra commands that you can do, and they are these ones here: land on motherships. So there's a third option once for a ship that actually has a mothership assigned. So the first option is land on specified mothership, no assignment. So what this will do is this will tell it to land on the mothership you tell it to, but it will not assign the ship that you landed on as a mothership. So this is like if the mothership is at a system and you need to land it on anything, you would land it on no assign, take it to its mothership, and then reassign it. This one here will land it on the mothership you assigned, but they will also assign it as the mothership. So that will actually assign it as a mothership, so that you will get the additional option, which is land on assigned mothership, which will let you, which instead of letting you select the mothership, will just automatically add the order, and it'll just automatically pick its motherships. What's really interesting is that because the assignment is per ship, if so you can launch like fighters from 3 different motherships, combine them into one single fighter wing, send them off, have them do whatever, and when they come back, you can tell them to land on their assigned motherships, and then they will automatically land themselves on the motherships that they launched from. So you don't have to click on one and then wait for them to fail landing all of them and then stuff like that. It just gets really annoying. So land on specified mothership is land on assigned mothership is useful for when you have fighters from multiple motherships that are returning to land, so you don't have to break them up and try and remember which one is assigned to which mothership, because it doesn't actually show you here which one it's assigned. You have to go into the ships menu, and then you have to go through them one by one. Super annoying. So that command that will reveal itself once we actually have an assigned ship will let us land easier in the future. So yeah, all right. Crew months is almost out. We'll finish that and we'll land on that. And no further default. Oh, there is one other thing that we need to do, is we need to tool for the mini scout. A little bit wasteful to tool a 5,000 ton shipyard for it, because you know what, let's get ourselves a naval yard that's still only 1,000 tons. I don't want to waste a 5,000 ton naval yard.
Fuck me.
Maybe later. We'll do, where is it? Naval yard, naval shipyard complex. Okay, we're gonna do one. I'm gonna do 50. Create, done. So as soon as the airfield is done, the naval yard's gonna be done. We're gonna be using that to build our scout vac. Okay, mini grav's done. So if we go have a look, if we now go have a look at the mini fac, no, not mini fac, mini grav. So you'll see now that it has an assigned mothership, which is the scout carrier James Cook. And you can remove it or assign it to a different one here as well. It doesn't have to be docked to the mothership to assign it. You can assign, well, I'm pretty sure you can only, I'm not sure if there is a limit on the range on this. Yeah, I'm not sure what the range on that, or if there's a limit on that. Yeah, so, I'll come back and I'll show you how to read this thing later. But, yeah, so if we go have a look now, if we were to split off the mini grav, and that's a fast way to undock your fighters, by the way, just split them straight out. If we go back to the exploration feed, yep, there it is. So land on assigned mothership. So notice how this window doesn't appear? That's because it knows what its assigned mothership is. So it's just going to land straight up. There you go. So first exploration fleet, there it is. So it's landed. That will start rewinding the clock and the maintenance clock. And that should also repair the gravitational sensor. So you'll probably, so we'll see that pop up in a second. So if we go now have a look. So there you go. So the maintenance clock has dropped to 0.97 and the crew months is down to 10.51. So that will slowly start to rewind. Where is the repair? I was waiting for that grav sensor to be repaired. Large freighter is done. Mini grav morale is degrading, but we're expecting that. Alright, mini grav has completed shore leave. So let's go have a look at it. Is it fixed? No, it's not. Why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, so crew grade is done. Maintenance clock is rewinding. Maintenance clock always rewinds slower than the crew grade. Okay. So you do have to start damage control to repair. So mini-grav 1 successfully repaired using supplies from its mothership. Perfect. So the maintenance supplies on a mothership essentially are made available to any docked ship to do its damage control. So either that or I just super fluked that it repaired it on the turn that I selected damage control, which I find extraordinarily unlikely. But oh well. Alright, and there is our flag bridge tech. When we redesign our scout carrier, we'll probably we'll probably add the flag bridge then, because I don't want to be messing with the design at the moment. Okay, we're almost done with the research labs. Let's take another 5. Ding. Okay. Now, fighters. We need mini geos. 4 of them. No, 6 of them. So if we build these, because we have them assigned to the James Cook as desired craft, these should get built straight into the task group. They should get automatically put in, even though if they're not being put into the one. Actually, I'll put 3 in the shipyard. And then 3 more into the exploration. And we'll see which one actually gets put in. Because one of these, or both of these, are going to get put directly into the fleet. And I want to find out which one it is exactly. We also might want to consider getting more fighter factories as well. Okay, there's our second quokka. We will go ahead and we'll go ahead and build our third one. Missile agility is almost ready. We're almost going to be ready to start making missiles. Crappy ones, but missiles nonetheless. Airfield is almost constructed. Grav 2 is done. Perfect. It hasn't suffered any maintenance failures, so we don't have to worry about doing damage repairs. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one it's built into as long as they're in the same... Why are they shifting it to first? Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Automatically added and built and assigned strike group of James Cook. Now we also just built the research labs, so bam, 5 done. So we're building the next 5 and we're going to allocate them into some other field. We completed missile agility, so we're now starting on reload launcher rate, which is fine. And we also have another colony ship, which is awesome. Okay. I'm also just going to cancel this and raise this to 4. Okay, so we can get those geological surveyors out. Airfield is almost done, and that will get us the naval complex. But it looks like we're going to be able to get all these out. And we're not super in a rush to get the scout out because we're still waiting on the camel to be constructed. Alright, that's a second GS surveyor. With a survey bonus of 15%. Alright, there is airfield done. Perfect. So that can just sit there on Sol. We don't need to worry about it at the moment because it's not being used for anything else. One thing I can't remember if I mentioned it, so I'm going to mention it again because it's so very, very important. If you have a ship that has parasites docked to it, never ever dock it to another ship. Aurora only tracks one single level of docked ships, so one single level of parasites. If the James Cook were to dock to airfield, these 4 fighters would completely disappear, and they will never be able, and you will not be able to get them back again. They will be completely removed from the game because Aurora will forget that they even exist. So never dock your carriers to anything. Everything else can be docked, but never dock a carrier that has something docked to it. Now, if you were to undock the fighters and dock them separately to airfield, that will be fine. Because it'll remember that it's a carrier, but it won't remember anything docked to that carrier if the carrier were to dock to something. So always keep that in mind. Never dock your carriers to another carrier. Very, very important. And I'll probably end up saying it again in the future, but I don't care because it is so very vital. Just the other day, I forget who it was, but somebody lost about 115 ships to docking a carrier to something else. That's a bummer. So don't let it happen to you. Never dock your carriers to a carrier. Okay, let's move along. Alright, naval complex is going to take only half the time of the airfield because it's about half the cost. Ooh, Mercury has finished adding oxygen. How lovely. I clicked on Sol again, didn't I? Yes, I did. Come on. Okay. Okay, so we are at 0.1001 atmosphere. That's fine. The 0.01 is completely irrelevant. How are we doing for temperature? So we can see that the temperature has actually increased. And the reason for that is that oxygen has actually a positive greenhouse factor. And also the atmospheric pressure counts towards greenhouse factor. So because oxygen does not decrease, does not have anti-greenhouse effect, we have actually increased the temperature of Mercury, which is the exact opposite of what we want. So now we're going to switch to anti-greenhouse gas. Now, for oxygen to be at below 30%, we need about 3. 3 will bring it down to 25%. So you need about 2.8 atmospheres, I believe, or 0.28. So we're going to bring it down to 0.3 to start with, and we'll see how far that drops the temperature. This most likely will not be enough, but we're going to set it to 0.3. It's going to take a couple years anyway, so we'll see where we end up with the temperature. So it won't be enough, but it definitely won't be too much. So it's fine. All right, Mercury. We'll see you in a decade or so. Let's get back to our construction. So naval shipyard is at 85. Macassimo and Irene has run out, and we have one more of our mini geos, which is fine. Naval complex is being constructed nicely. Is unrest still coming down on Mars? Geez, where's it up to? 98. Okay, it's not too far off. It's only going up 0.2%. We could make it faster by putting troops on there, but we don't have no troop transports and it'll be too annoying. Alright, garrison battalions are done. Let's convert all these infantry into cadres. Okay, and we are going to start building garrisons. Now, they're super cheap because we're using the cadres. And cadres essentially the trained soldiers and officers of the infantry stuff. And we're essentially just re-equipping them and retraining new soldiers to work with those officers. Okay. Okay, is that our last? No, we still got 2 more geos. Still got 2 more mini geos. Although, now that I mention it, mini grav, go be grav, mini grav 2, go be grav. Okay. Go do gravity stuff. Naval shipyard's almost done. Alright, that's another mini geo. One left. A naval complex is almost complete. And boom. Okay. Last little mini geo is done, and our naval complex is done. Our camel is almost complete, as is our quokka. We are going to quickly tool this to the mini scout, and we are going to build one of those real quick. We're also going to add an extra slipway because they're cheap at the moment. How long is that going to be? December 31, so only like 2 months later than a camel. Not a huge deal. Alright, so there's our camel done, which is fine. And quokka's done, so we now have our 3 quokkas. Garrison battalions are done, and let's go build 3 more. Oh, we have 50%, so let's shift this up to 20. Make it 25. Research hub is fine on 20. Mine on 20. Sector command, shift it up 20, and construction factories, we'll make that 30. Now we'll leave it at 25, but I will start producing more fighter factories. 200 will do. Nice slow trickle of fighter factories. We're also going to want ordnance factories, but we'll do those later. Ordnance. There. Start with 25, and then build me another 400. Okay. A few more techs incoming. Mini Scout is really quickly coming out. Interestingly, we can actually pre-build for the Mini Scout because it is being built through shipyards. It's not a fighter. So pre-building for the Mini Scout probably would not be too unusual. Alright, we got our techs. Shipyard time cost is done. Mining production is on the way. Jump drive efficiency 5 is on the way. And power mod is going good. Power. I want one more efficiency, but I think what I want more is new power and new engines. So we're gonna start moving towards iron engines. What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna cut the episode as soon as we get our scout fleet assembled. So as soon as the mini scout is done, I'm gonna dock it. I'm gonna assign it. We might do a little bit of management for the fighter squadrons. And then we are going to put a break and continue in the next episode. I'm going to save the last 3 cadres and just start building 3 more of these guys. Alright, we actually have a sector command. Alright, we'll do sector command real quick. As soon as the mini scout's done. And as soon as we get that organized. Or I might save that for the next episode. Just do that at the beginning of the next episode real quick. And then, there we go. Okay. Do we have construction progression going? Yes, we do. Defensive systems. Okay. It's about time we start on defensive systems. High density geranium armor. And that'll do for now. Okay, so we have our ships done. Let's go allocate them real quick. So, shipyard task group. We are going to move the camel and the mini scout. Okay. So, mini scout, mini scout, mini scout. There you are. We're going to set you as James Cook. Is that enough to set it? Should be. Yeah, okay. So we said the James Cook. We can also immediately land it land it here. So there we go. Yeah, alright, so that's where it's landed, and that's what it's assigned to. Okay. So you can launch and land ships individually here. It doesn't split them off, but it launches them immediately. So first exploration. So we can see that all of our parasites have currently landed on the James Cook, which is fine. The camel is fuel low. That's something to keep track of. Any ship that's marked as a tanker will only load to 10% of its fuel when it's built. So if you are building a tanker, you need to make sure that you actually load your fuel. So refuel and resupply, because we did spend a couple of maintenance supplies to repair the Mini Geo 1. Okay. Yeah, can't change that in here. Now, would it be worthwhile... reorganize squadrons. We could build them as squadron ones, but it's a little bit excessive to put them into their own squadrons. So we're not going to do that. We'll stick this for combat fighters. So what I might do... I really don't want to have to mess with this. Oh, okay. We won't mess with that. Not at the moment. Okay, so we have our first exploration fleet now ready to go exploring, which is awesome. What's much less awesome is that we're actually out of fuel on Australia. Whoops.
What else is near?
Okay, let's build another one of these. Once the sector command is done, we'll do 25. Okay. Okay. That'll be fine for now. So when the sector command is done, it's going to start building fuel. We are producing 1 million liters of fuel per annum, but that's just not enough because we need more. That's fine. Just means a slight delay before we depart. Very quickly, let's go set up our sector command. So, first things first, it's a civilian officer. And you can see that we need an A6 to be the governor of Australia sector. Now, we only have a couple of A6s. Mitchell Fleming and Charlie Blake are, of course, governors of Mercury and Irene. Let's have a look at Samantha. Mining bonus is nice. Terraforming bonus is nice. Shipbuilding is a bit low. Sheila, fantastic name. Worthless. Sam has nice factory bonus, wealth bonus, and the shipbuilding bonus, but no. Louise has a fantastic population growth and mining bonus, but no. Let's go look at quick Charlie. Shipbuilding bonus, wealth creation, limited mining population. Nah. And Mitchell has shipbuilding 15, factory 10, wealth 25, mining 40, population growth. Mitchell Fleming, congratulations on your promotion to Governor of Australia Sector. Hooray! We now need a Governor of Mercury and Rainmouth, so mining. Samantha, you can go Mercury. And Marsha, you can go Rainmouth, because why not? There you go. Well done. Now, not important for the system that the sector command is in, but one important thing to keep in mind is when you actually have sectors, you need to actually go into your sector command, which is this one. So you actually have to add systems to the sector command. So the system that the sector command is in, it's always assigned automatically. But if we have another sector that we want to provide these bonuses to, we do need to add them in manually. So that's something you need to keep in mind. You need to add those in manually. Okay, so we have a nice little bonus from our sector governor, which is great. So we got that done. We have technology. We have some ships. Our mini scout is complete. Our scouting fleet is ready to roll. We need more fuel, but that's fine. Yeah, I think we're done with this episode. And for once, we are actually under time. So, put a break in here. And I will see you in the next episode, where we see if we can take our first steps out of Sol. So, I will see you then.